Hey, it's Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show. Yesterday, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, along with other Republican lawmakers, unveiled the Texas Bathroom Bill, SB 6 as it's known, also known as the Texas Privacy Act. The Lieutenant Governor announcing yesterday, remember this has been one of his priorities that he listed, SB 6, which will be probably known as the Texas Bathroom Bill. It follows North Carolina's lead in some aspects. Reading here from the Texas Tribune, Texas Republicans announced Senate Bill 6. It would require transgendered people to use the bathrooms in public schools, government buildings, and public universities based on their biological sex, and would also preempt local non-discrimination ordinances that allow transgender Texans to use the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity. In other words, if you're a business, you can really set your own policy as far as this is concerned. You can allow men to use women's restrooms if you want. You can allow 3, 4, 5 different bathrooms. You can do whatever you want in this category. It's up to you. This would, by the way, if passed, SB 6 would get rid of non-discrimination policies that are already enacted in some Texas cities, like in Dallas and in Austin and some other Texas cities. So it would get rid of some of those ordinances, but also it would tell business owners, hey, you're free to do whatever you want in this area. It's your business. You can do what you want. If you want to allow people to use the bathroom that corresponds with their own identity, you're free to do so. Now, some say that this looks exactly like North Carolina's law. You have the Texas Association of Business. They've launched a side group that's basically called Keep Texas Open for Business. They claim that if SB 6 were to pass, that Texas could lose up to $8.5 billion in the first year because businesses would leave the state, they say. Others say, yeah, I don't think that would happen, that maybe some places wouldn't come here, but this is not a law that discriminates against anybody. This is allowing businesses to set their own policy. Now, in schools, in government buildings, you would have to use the bathroom that corresponds with your biological sex. There's going to be a lot of debate on this. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. I've already seen some Republicans, and of course Democrats are unhappy about this, but some Republicans who say, oh my goodness, isn't there, better stuff that we can talk about? Isn't there more that Texas needs to do instead of worrying about who goes to the bathroom and where? That's why there's going to be a debate. In the Texas Senate, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has set this as one of his priorities. In the House, Joe Strauss, the House Speaker, has kind of said that this really isn't a priority of mine. It's not one of the most important issues that we have to deal with. By the way, the Texas Governor, Greg Abbott, in the past, because no one really knew what was going to be unveiled until yesterday, Texas Governor has kind of been more of a hands-off, going, well, we'll wait and see what comes up. We'll see if the governor indicates one way or the other whether he supports this type of legislation. You have some of the business community who may support this because it does free up businesses to do whatever they want to do, and others in the business community who say, hey, we're going to lose future Super Bowls. The NCAA is going to pull out of Texas. You're not going to have NCAA championships anymore. You're going to have people, like we saw in North Carolina where the NCAA pulled out. The NBA All-Star Game got pulled out of Charlotte. All of this within the first year. Concerts were canceled by musicians. There are businesses that are afraid that could happen here in Texas. Remains to be seen. You could see some of it. Others may not, because really, there's a lot of money in this state. With North Carolina, you're skipping out on, really, no offense, North Carolina, but you're skipping out on one town, one or two big cities. In Texas, if you're saying you're going to pull out of Texas, and you're going to leave the state and you're not going to perform in Texas, you're talking about, if you're a musician, you're saying you're not going to have a concert in Dallas, you're not going to have a concert in Houston, you're not going to have a concert in Austin, in Lubbock, in name your town. across the state of Texas, you're going to ignore this place. I don't think that's going to happen with a lot of musicians. Same for business. Look, we have an overly business friendly climate here in this state. I don't see a lot of businesses leaving the state if this were to pass. Now, will this pass in the Texas House and in the Senate? Maybe in the Senate. The House, I think they're going to be stacked full of things to talk about, and I don't think this is going to be a priority for members of the House. This is going to be a big debate. I do see the Texas Senate really putting a lot of pressure, and especially Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick putting pressure on members of the House on this. I see a big PR battle coming our way during the upcoming legislative session, which begins on January 10th. Overall, will it pass? Remains to be seen. This is one of those pieces of legislation. It kind of depends on where the momentum is going into this next session, and I don't see the momentum right now being on the side of Dan Patrick in the Senate. But that all remains to be seen. A lot to deal with in this upcoming legislative session. We'll see what happens. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on NewsTalk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. And follow me on Twitter, Chad Hasty Radio. Let me know your thoughts below on the Texas bathroom bill. Have a great day.